Yeah, and that severe weather risk is going to impact us as well during the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, really through the afternoon. It's not only for the overnight hours in our Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday into the weekend. There is chances for some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. Daytime highs today eventually will reach up into the 70s. It's windy out there if you haven't noticed, but that's boosting our afternoon highs. Take a look at these wind gusts throughout the rest of the day today. Again, every once in a while, we'll get a peak wind gust anywhere between 30 up to 35 miles per hour. But by the time we get to the overnight hours, we could really start to see some strong winds. That's why you see those temperatures late this evening, overnight into tomorrow morning really don't move from our daytime highs. Overnight tonight, we'll see 60s and 70s out there, and that's going to just have that fuel ready to go for the chances for some storms during the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. Really two different rounds we're talking about here. That first one comes in late this evening, overnight into tomorrow morning, and it's conditional. What I mean by that is it's either going to be hit or miss. That dry line is going to be trying to escape out of central Oklahoma, and ahead of it is going to be a few isolated thunderstorms. Whether or not that reaches all the way to western Arkansas or not, still up for debate. That's why we're going to be here overnight tonight. Just keep an eye on those thunderstorms. Really, the main concern of that risk is going to be tomorrow morning around 7, 8 a.m. through the afternoon hours across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. That's everything you see shaded there in orange, that level 3 enhanced risk. The main concern with that would be some strong, large hail, but also some strong damaging winds. The chances for some rotation, what you see on Thursday there, is yet another risk. Unfortunately, we already have a risk out for Friday and Saturday as well. We'll talk about those threats coming up here in just a bit. I want to show you specifically Wednesday morning through the afternoon's threat. Again, the main concern is that we could have some very large hail across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. That's everything you see shaded there in red and yellow, but the secondary concerns would be some strong damaging winds along the leading edge of that line of thunderstorms, but also looking out for a few notches in those lines or signs of rotation that would lead us to believe there could be a low tornado risk for tomorrow as well. Let's look at Futurecast. Again, we're going to show you late this evening first and show you just how conditional that thunderstorm risk is. You're going to see those thunderstorms popping up across portions of central Oklahoma, but they almost push into parts of Kansas and Missouri and just missed us this evening. There is still a chance, though, that we could see a few isolated thunderstorms pop up during the overnight hours, and that's what we're going to stay and keep our eye on during the overnight hours. But this is a look at 7:30 on Wednesday morning. This is that cold front that's going to be moving into northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Ahead of that is where you would find those strong damaging wind gusts, but also the chances for some hail mixing in there as well. That's, again, the main concern. If one of these supercells wants to start to rotate, that could lead us to believe we have at least a marginal risk for some of those isolated tornadoes for tomorrow. That continues throughout the morning hours and into the early afternoon. And unfortunately, once we get into the afternoon hours, that's the peak heating hour of the day. That's when those storms could have the highest amount of instability and try to produce some of those strong to severe thunderstorms as well. Definitely the highest risk is going to be central eastern parts of the state going into our Wednesday evening. We enter into a bit of a lull before more storm chances return on our Thursday. And that's what this looks like right now. This is Thursday morning, which you see more of those thunderstorms popping up, mainly south of I-40, but really everybody got to have a chance of at least some heavy rainfall, isolated thunderstorms throughout the day on our Thursday as well. I want to show you those rain chances, again, not only Wednesday, Thursday, but Friday into Saturday, some rain chances as well. Really, that's where we're going to pick up a bulk of that rainfall. Unfortunately, there's a flooding concern by the time we get through the weekend, just because of how much rainfall we're going to see. Not only do we have the Wednesday system, but again, we have a Thursday system as well, as that front is going to stall out and halt over Arkansas, bringing more rain chances for us. Here's a look at Thursday's system, and then by the time we get to Friday into the weekend, maybe the most rainfall that we're going to see, along with another chance for some of those strong thunderstorms as well. Finally, those rain chances end by the time we get to early next week. With all that said, by the time we get to the end of the weekend, generally, we think we could see anywhere from 4 up to 7 inches of rainfall. That is what's going to lead to that flooding potential. Already have that flood watch issued across Johnson, Logan, and Scott counties. And before we show you that 7-day forecast, I want to show you that Friday risk as well. The Storm Prediction Center already highlighting the chances for storms by the time we get to the end of this work week. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Again, northwest Arkansas over the next 7 days. Weather impact alert for tomorrow. Just because you don't see a weather impact alert for Thursday, Friday, or over the weekend just yet, doesn't mean that we might not go there as well. Just waiting on a little bit more data before we decide to have that next alert. Really, the alert is for the overnight hours hours, maybe seeing a few of those storms escape out of Oklahoma, but I really want you to focus on the timeline between around 7 a.m. to about 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. That's when that cold front's going to be arriving, and just in front of that is where we could see those strongest storms firing up just off towards our west and then pushing into northwest Arkansas in the River Valley, bringing the hail threat, bringing in the wind threat, and maybe an isolated tornado or two. Of course, we're going to have the storm potential for Thursday, Friday into the weekend. Lots of rain chances coming up this week. That eventually will lead to the flooding risk. It's rare that we have a big event like this, but then that front stalls out, so we get rain chance after rain chance after rain chance. So by the end of the weekend, we're going to be tired of the rain.